Come and dream with me.
Hello and welcome to What Do You Want to Watch, the Explosion Network's premier media podcast. Every week we get together and talk about movies, TV, and online content. Help you answer the question, will Tom Cruise really keep making Mission Impossible movies till he's 80? I mean, if he doesn't die before then.
That's a hard question.
Tough one. I'm your host, Ashley Hobley. Joining me today, Dylan Blight.
Maybe he will. Maybe I won't mind it, you know?
It's an interesting quote because he specifically says he wants to keep making Mission Impossible movies till he's 80. But I thought this was meant to be the final. It was meant to be the last
so
two.
did I. So
Going all Vin Diesel. Yeah. It's actually going to be an 8-part finale.
maybe the last one he stars in.
Maybe he'll have a cameo. Like
maybe he can continue the franchise and move to a supporting role.
He runs the IMF or something. You know?
Yeah.
Trains.
As weird as that is to say, I don't know if that would be such a bad idea, like career wise,
health wise,
and health wise, yeah, health
wise. On today's show we'll be talking about what's in our watch history, going over a little bit of film news, giving some thumbs to trailers, and talking about this week's top 3. We'll kick things off. Probably you've seen it on the podcast feed. We've seen Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 in cinemas. There is a spoilercast up on the podcast feed. Of course, this is the latest film starring Tom Cruise, directed by Chris McQuarrie, in which he's chasing some keys. Dylan, what do you think of Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought it was good. This is what I want my, go to the cinema, big blockbuster films. This is what I want out of them. I don't think it's anywhere near as good as the previous one, which was sort of one of the best movies of that year with Fallout. Doesn't have the magic of that, but I do think it's still just a highly enjoyable action flick. It just suffers of being like a lot of these movies and shit. I think a big part of it is the fact it's not a complete movie, and it does suffer for that fact. But what's here is just still highly enjoyable. Haley Atwell's a standout new addition to it. Keen to see where the second part goes. Yeah,
it's really good. Obviously, ever since the third one, they've been pretty at least good to fantastic. Really enjoyable. Obviously, this is it's definitely been built up as like the finale to this era of Ethan Hunt, whether it's like people from his past suddenly reappearing, people's appearing to die. It definitely feels like everything's kind of coming full circle. You've got this massive AI thing entity that they're coming up against, which feels kind of feels a little bit on the nose given what's happening in the world right now.
But I just don't. This is like you keep saying it's on the nose, but I'm like, is it? Because on the nose, like, is it on the nose?
Everybody's talking about AI, so now the big bad's got to be AI.
But this is not on the nose. Like, I don't think it's a thing like AI is going to
listen. Mrs. Davis did it first, and I'm upset.
You know what I mean? Like, AI is just not going to up and disappear. It's current.
It's here to stay. It's current.
Yeah,
it feels too current.
Okay,
overly current.
That'd be different. Yeah, that's fair.
But yeah, Tom Cruise doing crazy stuff. The stunt that has been built up and shown off in all the trailers looks cool. Very crazy. But I think we agree. I don't think it's the best stunt in the film.
I mean, it's the best. I would say it's the best stunt, like
the
logistically.
Shot? Yeah, but not the best.
But the most exciting sequence was a part that we had seen less of in the trailer. So even though I saw they put out a trailer that featured that a lot more the other day, so
no, there's just the one shot of them. Yeah. Haley Atwell, like you said, fantastic addition. I think she's super charming. This movie is surprisingly funny, with Tom Cruise and Haley Atwell so having really good comedic timing. Really enjoyable. definitely need to see it in cinemas, because it's just a cinematic movie, you know. Yeah, so we'd recommend checking that out and then go listen
If
to
you're
our
not gonna
spoiler
go,
cast.
if you're not gonna go watch this in the cinema, I don't understand why you bother like living.
If
Like,
why are you listening to this podcast? Is what we're
yeah,
saying.
like if this isn't enough to get you into the cinema, I don't understand anymore. Like,
Why are
I
you
just
here?
don't get it. Why are you here? Go away.
All right, so check out Mission Impossible in cinemas now. Dylan, you watched a movie and
Correct.
reviewed a
Yeah,
movie
I
for
did. I fucking love them.
watched the movie on Shudder called Quicksand. He gave it a 5 out of 10 on the website and said, "There are a few simple survival horror films like this made anymore, so I enjoyed watching it for what it was. But Quicksand isn't going to be something I come back to anytime soon."
Yeah, so Quicksand's a movie about this couple that heads into Colombia. They're heading there for like I think it's like a medical con or something that's been put together. But you quickly discover they're sort of on the brink and have been like sort of 3 months separated. They're about to get divorced. All this, so there's a lot of like separation for them. Long story short, they end up like having to run away from a dude who's like pulls a gun on them, trying to steal their car while they're out for a hike. Then they run in and they end up both getting stuck in quicksand. So the majority of the rest of the movie is them in the quicksand trying to figure out how to get out while also dealing with things like nasty fucking ants biting them and fucked up shit you find in the rainforest in Colombia, mostly including a big fuck off snake, and apparently which is immune to quicksand. It can just fucking slivel
Yep.
slivel right along
It's
the
no
top of
facts.
quicksand.
Snakes.
Immune to sand.
To sand.
Yeah, it's true. It's a big fact. So yeah, like the movie tries to, I guess, like have this very obvious thing about, there's a couple, they're going through, their relationship was sinking, they were stuck in it for a while. Now they're stuck in quicksand together, and then they have to sort of reconcile while trying to fight for their lives. Like I don't think you have to think too much to think about why the characters written the way they were. The two actors do fine for what it is, but I never particularly grew too fond of them as much as I'm sure the film wants you and the writer and directors want you to. And yeah, it's just a very slow burn for the most part. When the highs are obviously when a snake shows up, and that's pretty tense. But yeah, I sort of right as it was sort of getting somewhere towards the end, it sort of wrapped up. And I was like, oh, cool, whatever. That was what it was. But yeah, as I said in review, I just don't think you get many of these movies. So if you like these, and by these I mean characters stuck trying to find a way to survive, which can be in the middle of nowhere. It can be 127 hours strapped to a rock and based on a true story. It can be buried in a box alive. And your Ryan Reynolds, which is a really good one. Like any of these sorts of just survival films. So
All right. So that releases on Shudder this Friday,
yeah,
the 14th.
Yeah.
So we both went out to the cinema again and checked out Joyride, the new film from Adele Lim, starring Ashley Park, Sherry Collar, Stephanie Shu, and Sabrina Wu, in which a young woman named Audrey, who grew up in the suburbs of Seattle as the adoptee of white parents, is going to China for the first time with her best friend, Lolo, in order to seal a big business deal for a law firm. Lolo's cousin Vanessa tags along. Vanessa slash Deadeye tags along. Socially awkward cousin, and they meet up with Audrey's roommate Kat, who's a big actress on a daytime TV show, filming in China. And long story short, they go in search of Audrey's birth mother in China in order to seal the deal because Ronnie Cheng's weird. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was a fun time, crazy comedy, definitely over the top. I'm sure it's kind of like the Asian road trip or Bridesmaids, I guess, like a very sex positive female friend story, but it's also got this arc of like finding yourself and learning about your history and where you come from and all those kind of themes, and probably a very common like immigrant story, I guess. but yeah, this film went in directions I was not expecting. I think once you come out of this movie, you've seen things. And I'll just end by saying I was not prepared for Cat's tattoo.
Fair.
Dylan, what are your thoughts on Joyride?
Yeah, definitely the standout comedy I think of the year so far. I can't think of anything that would.
What was your
currently top
audience
this.
like? You went out like for a preview screening.
They were like so it was half full, I'd say, and yeah, it was laughs.
Okay,
pretty good laughs.
It was like me and like a couple of older couples.
Interesting.
So it was. I'm sitting there going, "Wow, I wonder what they're thinking."
I heard multiple. So there was a lot of laughter, and then every now and then, depending on what was happening, you would either hear "ew" or across from somewhere else, just like some random woman who, like, everyone stopped laughing, and you just hear the like still trying to keep it in. So yeah, it was a pretty good.
Okay, good
Yeah,
crowd.
it was a good. But that's which side tangent. I was telling someone at work the other day I watched this, and they're like, "Yeah, I don't know if I'd go to movies and watch that." I think watching comedy films highly under talked appreciation for watching a comedy film with a decent size, like, because mine was only half full, but like with a decent enough crowd, like, can add a good comedy where everyone's laughing, like, adds to like part of the film's magic sort of thing.
Yeah,
So but yeah, I definitely feel like it's the best comedy I've seen so far this year. I thought it was absolutely fantastic. Cast is stellar. I think, yes, it is easy way to call it would be just Asian Bridesmaids, but like that's sort of like, I feel like that's underselling it.
yes,
because as much as that's what I think most people are going to fall into saying it is, because it's the R-rated raunchy comedy with like, well, I don't want to say four girls, because like a Deadeye's actor is non-binary, and I believe that obviously the storyline, although they don't directly say it here, is
that way,
is coded that although Deadeye hasn't, I don't think, strictly come out as non-binary in the film, that's like, I think the coded way. So yeah, so I definitely feel like it was a very funny film, lots of raunchy jokes and that sort of stuff if you like it. There's a lot of stuff in here I hadn't seen before, but then it all comes together with this. So the immigrant slash Asian Americans, especially focused, obviously, part of this and the way the film just starts with the, like, going in all the just looking at all the white kids in the playground like it's a horror movie, like, just like their faces going around, like all that sort of stuff, and then that white kid getting punched right in the face at the start was quite funny. So
you saw it in the trailer, but it was so much.
It was still so funny.
Still funny because then you get the added shot after it of him taking another hit.
It was good shit.
And then the parents trying to console him.
Little fucker, little racist fuck. It was very good shit. I would highly recommend watching Joyride. I think I don't know, it's hard to, there's lots of stuff I'd love to say, but it's just spoiling some of the good parts of the movie. But yeah, good shit.
Yeah, there's some crazy stuff in here. Really enjoyable. Hopefully, there's the option there for them to make another one. But I enjoyed it. Dylan, you finished watching The Clearing on Disney Plus.
Yeah, I definitely feel like, as far as Disney's first, or Star original, or whatever the fuck we're calling it, but yeah, the Star / Disney side's first scripted Australian series, it's okay. I definitely feel like it's not going to rank highly in my top Australian TV series I watched this year, because I feel like I've watched a lot, and this is definitely not up the top. It just, the whole pacing consistently felt off. Like, it was just trying to be too dark and too like, and it is a dark subject matter, but like, it still felt like it was just it was letting that affect the way it told its story at times. I don't know if that makes any sort of sense, but and the other thing is they take this true story and they use that as the basis for this, but I honestly, I was sort of left with a, like, I don't know, the true story is sort of more interesting than the fictional one you've come up with, because there is that Netflix documentary I watched like last year or the year before about what this is based on. I think it's just called The Family or whatever. And that's interesting. You can watch that as well. So, but I mean, the acting's all good. Miranda Otto is having the fucking blast. As weird as that is to say, playing this horrible person, but you can tell that she's just getting to act her. She gets to act her act and have an acting time, playing a character she wouldn't usually get to play, which is good. But yeah, it's okay. That's where I'd land. It's okay.
Okay. So you also watched The Outwaters. What's this one?
Yeah, so I said I was really looking forward to watch this. Didn't love it. That's all right. Can't win them all. Very fucking weird movie. This is, and I went into it not knowing anything because that's what I got told was the best way to watch it. But yeah, it's just this movie's just too weird for its own good, and I don't really know what the point of it is. So it's a found footage horror film, which the first hour 20 probably is like nothing, and then the last half hour 20 minutes is just absolute nonsense, and that's where they start like doing the horror stuff. Prior to that, it's just it's like three friends and someone new. They head out to the middle of the desert to film a music video for like the main girl character. She's like trying to be an artist or whatever. And then it's this whole like the main dude's like recording behind the scenes of it all, and then you see him filming and taking photos for the music video. And like the problem I have with it is primarily the fact that the first hour 20, I just didn't really like any of these characters. I didn't like get interested in any of them, and there was like barely any build up of tension. Like most of these good found footage scary movies are, Paranormal Activity, Blair Witch, like they have a good build up towards all of it, and then there's a good payoff. And even if you're a bit confused or don't love the ending, like Blair Witch has a what the fuck ending, but it's still like up until that moment, it's a barrel of. There's a reason that movie did really well, right? So that Waters, it gets to a point, and then it just goes absolute just insanity. Of visual imagery, rapid flashing stuff for like 20 minutes. I felt like it was where the main character's just wandering around. I don't know. I don't want to spoil it in case someone does want to watch it. And then the movie ends with the most over the top. Just it gets horrific. Like if you want the blood and you want the horror stuff, it's there at the end. But I'm still just like, why? And then yeah, so I didn't love it. Is what I'll say.
Okay. So you're not watching the other parts
The
of the Outwater collection?
short films? No, I'm good.
You're good. Okay. And then I saw you watched a film called Daughter today.
Yeah, I watched that today. Really interesting. So, it is a very slow burn. Yeah, so this is like a thriller, I guess, but it's about we don't really see anything outside this house, which is the whole point, I guess. So the movie starts. Actually, no, you do right stuff. But anyway, after that, the movie starts with this character. She's being kidnapped, and everyone's just referred to as like father, mother, sister, daughter, and then brother. And then the whole film is like the father's like kidnapped this person and then is telling them, hey, you're going to play the sister and you got to learn to do that. And then the whole rest of the movie, there's lots of weird shit going on with the father. Like he's telling the son and the family, like the air's outside poisonous and like all this sort of stuff. And then you slowly realize the son has absolutely no idea what the real world is like. And you're like, how are they going to escape from this? Is the mother in on it? Like it's a very slow burn. I liked the ending. It does leave it open to interpretation of like what is going to happen, but I feel like I lean towards one direction than another. The performances are all really, really good. So yeah, I wouldn't like it if you like a slow burn thriller. That's just four characters basically just acting. A lot of long one takes as well. That's where I'd suggest this. Ian Alexander plays the brother / son as well. So shout out if from The Last of Us, Lev, or I think that was the character's name, right? Lev.
I want to bring the Batuta Advocate up again. Or the Batuta Advocate Presents up again. A couple of weeks I talked about the document, like the episode where they talked about the Hillsong thing. They've got another few episodes up now, and I think it's pretty fantastic. It's obviously like a it's like a 60 minutes-esque thing where they kind of deep dive into a history, time in history and Australian history. They tell the the story of the events with news footage and interviews with people who were there, as well as cartoons, little cartoons. Really, really well done. Couple of really fascinating ones they've done recently, delving into like the Super League War, which I'm sure is something that Dylan wouldn't have any interest in, because it's about it's about rugby league and it's Murdochs against Packers. It's all that kind of stuff. But then they did an episode like delving into the Cronulla riots.
Sounds like a lose-lose scenario. And what did you say? Murdochs versus Packers?
Murders versus Packers.
Murdochs versus Packers? Do I have a third option? Like, what's the fucking...
No.
Okay.
But they delved into the Cronulla riots, which is an interesting watch, because, you know, that was an event that kind of happened. And as someone who was not in New South Wales, it's like, oh, okay, this is kind of random. All these random people showed up in the beach and like started punching on and that kind of stuff.
Was that
they kind of
2000s or whatever it was?
Yeah, something like that. So delving into that, and then they just did an episode on it's called The Ring In. It's about a small crew of criminals trying to perform a horse racing ring-in. So the idea of a ring-in is you get a shit horse and you keep putting in races, and then eventually, before it goes into a race, you swap it out with a fast horse. And now that the shit horse has terrible odds, you know, the fast horse, you'll win a bunch of money, right? And this is a crime gone wrong story. It is fantastic. Okay. It's incredible retelling. One of the funniest things I've seen this year.
Is it just because I swap it out and like the other horse has like a giant like?
Oh, there is so many. Like, how this story has not been made into some sort of movie or something that I've seen is bonkers. Because it's like shamble after shamble after shamble.
It's Steven Soderbergh to direct it.
Maybe. But yeah, I would. Batuta Advocate presents. If your Paramount Plus subscription is still, if you accidentally lapse because after Yellow Jackets ended or something else, if you finish watching all of what's the Kevin Costner series, Yellowstone. If you watched all them, check this out. All right, let's move it to the mandatory Netflix segment of the show. Dylan, you watched The Outlaws.
Oh, right, yeah. The Pierce Brosnan movie. Yep.
Yes.
It was all right.
Cool.
See, my problem with the movie is actually this. Now, you've probably watched more with him than I have. What's Old Mate the Star's name?
Adam Devine.
Adam Devine. He kind of shitted me off in this, to be completely honest. Like, and I know this is him just doing his regular Adam Devine
stuff
thing, I feel like, but it was just, I found it frustratingly annoying to like, that's where I'm at. And I've watched stuff with him in it before. Like, I haven't watched a lot with him in it, but I've watched stuff with him and never had an issue. But he's playing this character that's so dumb. Right, is the thing, like naive, I guess, is it would be the way the guy is just so naive to it so much and just ridiculous, and he's just supposed to be this so innocent, and you know, like they're telling the story about how him and his to-be wife met, and he's like, oh, I had to go in for something or other, and then that's the moment I knew I'd fall in love with her, and then Pierce Brosnan or whatever the mum asked, like, and then you asked her out, right? And then he's like, no, I kept coming back for 6 more times until she asked me out. You know, it's like supposed to be the story of like he's such a fucking wuss that, you know, like he doesn't do anything in his life, sort of thing. And it's just, I found him so fucking annoying. Anyway, apart from him, I enjoyed other people in this movie, and I feel like I would have enjoyed this movie a lot more and found it a lot funnier if it either he was a bit different or it was someone else other than him. I'm going to be real, as mean as it is to say that, because Pierce Brosnan is just chewing scenery with this character, and I was enjoying that. Partnered with Ellen Barker, they're having fun. Michael Rooker's in this, wearing a ridiculous hat, having a fun time. Good for it, you know. Like I'm enjoying many parts of this movie. Apart from Adam Devine, ruins the movie for me. Sorry.
All right. Then you watched a couple of documentaries I've talked about before. You watched Muscles and Mayhem: The Unauthorized Story of American Gladiators. It
was all right, wasn't it? It wasn't. I feel like it dragged on. Like, I feel like it should have been half the length. I was sort of into it and out of it at different points. And I honestly, I think I went from the second to third episode and listened to like a 10-minute part, and I felt like they were just repeating themselves. And I actually paused and double checked I hadn't gone back an episode by accident. I was like, did you not just cover all this? Like, are we apparently no, they're just sort of just really honing in on certain facts. Like, I was like, fucking hell, calm down anyway. But yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it for what it was. As I said, like I definitely I remember and having fond memories watching the Australian version of Gladiators. But I never had like any. I didn't know anything about the American ones and whatever. There's a little bit of history to be learned here and whatever else. It's semi interesting, but I definitely felt like it should have been like half the length or just a movie. Like this 4-episode shit. Get out of here. Didn't need to be 4 hours.
Yeah. All right. And then you watched the documentary Take Care of Maya.
This is distressing.
Mm.
Very distressing documentary. I think I watched that after the same night I watched The Outlaws or some weird shit like that. It's just fucking whiplash. I went from one thing to another.
Yeah.
Anyway, have you watched this? You watched this one?
Yeah, I watched this before.
When did you talk about this? I can't remember you talking about this.
A few weeks ago.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
I don't remember. Anyway, so this is this with Zach Jackson over here. I just zoned out or something apparently. I enjoyed it as much as you enjoy watching something like this. If you are like me and don't remember Ash talking about this, it's about this girl who has like a condition. Do you remember what the condition's called? I can't remember what.
CDI, something like that.
Something I never heard of, right? And it's the movie doesn't act like the doco doesn't act like you should know what it is. It's a very rare disease or whatever. Anyway, so the parents are like getting her, like take her all these specialists. She ends up getting put on like a certain amount of ketamine to help and all these sorts of things. And she has like a really bad episode. They take her into doctors. Some social worker comes in and decides that they know better than everyone else and that the parents must be abusing their child, and they like separate them, and then it's just from then it's just fucking the worst case scenario. And what's even worse is by the time you get to the end of the movie, with everything horrible that happens to this family throughout the whole movie, then finding out that this similar things have also happened to other families, and even like people have like there was that one dad at the end talking about how he went to prison for like a year. I was like, oh my, like this is so much. Like I don't know. I was by the end of this, I was like, is this just an American thing? Like, can this happen? Does this happen in Australia? Like, I want to know, like, what are the rules and regulations on some person? Because the film does focus on this one social worker in particular, about how like she caused all these issues for so many families.
Yes.
And there's one particular hospital and whatever else, but then they do imply that, you know, these things happen all across the country. Like, how the fuck does one person get to make this without any like court case, and like you can't even get a proper court case? I don't know. It was fucked up. That's what it was.
Yeah, it's a film that makes you sad and makes you angry at the same time.
Yeah,
because you know this poor kid stuck in a hospital, pretty much kidnapped.
Yep.
For like
3
6
months.
months.
Yeah, whatever it was.
Very long period of time. And you know, all the tension that's being built up in the family leading up to something happening. So
yeah, I feel like it's going to be on a doco, at least.
Probably.
Surely it's in a doco list for the end of the year.
Yeah. Did you see? That was one of my things. It's like they kind of made that moment out to be kind of a twist.
I saw it
but
coming.
I feel like it was, if you'd watched documentaries like this before, you could see the foreshadowing.
The foreshadowing is just the way characters are speaking from the moment, the wording and understanding
the
how
absence.
you use that paired with the English language and how you use certain words to describe if a person's there or not anymore. like I was like, yeah. So yeah, I don't know. It's just, it is what it is. They built up to it, but I don't think they purposely. I don't think they drew it out anymore or made it. I don't think they tried to make it a moment, but it is a moment. And
yeah, super sad. Ongoing. Hopefully they get justice. That might have been the most depressing part of it.
Yeah, I was reading some reviews afterwards to see what people thought, because I was like, fuck, this doco is good. Like, why haven't I heard more people talk about this? I saw one review complain that they didn't feel like it told enough of a story. It was like sort of left you feeling unfulfilled. I'm like, left you feeling unfulfilled? What about the fucking family? Like, isn't that the point?
That's kind
like,
of the point, yeah.
like,
it's like, you know, it's not meant to have a happy bow, I guess, tied on the
Yeah.
ends. And hopefully, this film puts pressure on the people that pressure needs to be put on. Would be the only hope. Yeah. All right, that's everything in our watch history. Let's move into a little bit of film news. And Dylan, it looks like we're on the cusp of a SAG-AFTRA strike. Reading from Variety, leadership from the Performers Guild, SAG-AFTRA, held a conference call with top Hollywood publicity agencies on Monday, bracing the powerful gatekeepers of A-list stars for a strike. The objective of the call, according to the source, was to brief the reps on protocols and how talents can best serve the union if and when a strike takes place. SAG-AFTRA's national board has the option to call a strike if the AMPTP won't agree on an ideal that bolsters performers' careers and ensures their profession remains one that can support a dignified livelihood, leadership wrote to PR agencies ahead of the meeting. Dylan, is Hollywood about to go to shit?
I don't think Hollywood's already, like, why not just stack them up at this point,
Yeah.
Just do all the strikes in one quick succession, and, as I said last time, there's no downside to this to me. Because if they stop filming everything, that just means they got more time to catch up and stuff, and everyone can work out their shit and get the proper rates and royalties and whatever the different factions are fighting for. I got nothing. I'm fine. Do your shit. Get you paid. Get shit worked out. Get AI banned. That's an important part.
Yes,
from everything.
Important.
AI banned from writers. AI directors banned. AI actors banned. Fucking AI producers, editors,
AI gaffers banned.
AI
gaffers, lighting, cinematographers,
AI best boys,
makeup artists.
Get rid of them all. Get them all fucking banned, man. Like
AI runners, get them all gone.
Yeah, let's get ahead of it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen or recall multiple strikes like kind of overlapping. Probably because they'd come to the table at this point. It's been 2 months since the writer strike began, with little to no headway, it seems. So yeah, I fully expect we'll be seeing them going on strike. I will point out a lot of people, SAG-AFTRA president Fran Drescher was getting a lot of backlash over the weekend because she was over in Paris partying it up with Kim Kardashian and other people at like some fashion show instead of like trying to get a deal done. So I suspect this is going to be, don't think she's going to be in that position very much longer, or not for another term anyway. So interesting. Not a lot of news. I did find this story kind of interesting. IndieWire posted up an article about why. Here are all the reasons why streamers love removing shows. Of course, recently
money.
we had a bunch
Done,
of.
move on.
Of course, Warner Brothers got rid of a bunch of stuff. Paramount Plus has just dropped a bunch of stuff, including shows that they cancelled. And then Disney Plus removed a bunch of stuff. Most notably, Crater, which I talked about in after it got removed from Disney Plus 7 weeks after release. A lot of people were very upset about that. Understandable for people who actually worked on the project and that kind of stuff. But people who are never going to watch it, I don't understand why they're so upset.
I got a hot take I want to put out there right now and get an opinion on. As someone who usually would say the complete opposite of this, if you can't find any of these shows anywhere, pirate them, right? Right? No?
I think, I don't know. I feel like, again, that's
I'm not telling people to pirate them, Ash. I'm just saying that's surely the only option they would have to think about.
Probably. They'd have to think about it. Okay. Just pulling from this article. Okay, so about a month ago, Disney did its best WBD impression and dropped 76 titles from streamers Disney Plus and Hulu. The following week, a company SEC filing suggested that content dump wouldn't be the last. Case in point, last week, Hulu removed 2 one-and-done ABC series with Alaska Daily and The Company You Keep. They're available on PVOD. Waiving goodbye to single series, and one-off specials will become regular practice for ABC content on Hulu, a person with knowledge of the plans told IndieWire. Streamers have always rotated licensed content on and off platform based on when existing agreements ended and new ones began. This is different. These properties are owned by the streamer and have no expiration date. However, streaming platforms no longer view themselves as warehouses with endless storage space. It's not that everything must go, but everything can, or should stay. Removing content accomplishes a few things. First, if a platform pays rights to a producer or studio, it can remove those fees from the balance sheet. And since every piece of content has an amortized schedule, removal accelerates it. It's like totaling a car that still has years to pay off. There's also a psychological effect. It can confer a sense of exclusivity and allow streamers to brag about curation, as they want to do. Several people told us that with new programming always incoming, so is data about what keeps users engaged. You don't want the good stuff diluted by the bad. That was an interesting point. I was wondering if you agree. Is it just a case of curation? Are they just removing stuff that doesn't work and being like, let's just keep the good stuff here?
No, they're doing it. That's what they're saying. They're doing it primarily to get money off the books. I think we're fucking about
but
curation.
does that have a? But is it true?
Is it true? No, I don't think it matters. I think you could bury a show in the app to the point that no one really cares.
Yeah, I don't think it matters or even works, to be perfectly honest. It doesn't matter if it's good or not, to be perfectly honest. Like, you look at Netflix this last week. Number 1 movie in Australia, Woody Woodpecker. I'm pretty sure that was not a great movie, but everybody was watching it for some reason because it dropped. But yeah, there's all these content being removed. I would not condone the piracy, I would say just watch stuff as soon as it is available. Then you don't have to worry about it being gone. But yeah, it's difficult. They're making it hard for everybody. Hard. They're definitely not telling people to pirate stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're not doing themselves any favors in getting people to not pirate content.
I think much like we talk about the loss of like digital video games, if they move from platform, there's like no physical release. This is no different to me. Like, unless you're gonna put this shit out on a disc format that people can buy if they want to, because like, what if you love this show and you just feel like you want to rewatch it once every year because you love it? Like, like, what if you're a massive fan of Willow and you're like, fuck, it's been a year since that finished, I want to rewatch that now. What do? You have no option. Literally no option.
Yeah.
You watched it when it came out. You watched it week by week. You supported the show. And for your support, you get nothing. Like, you have no option. You couldn't buy it if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Who does that help? Other than the royalty fees for the producers and anyone else involved. Now, we are talking about how people should be getting royalty fees for writers and all this sort of stuff. And to counteract that, Disney's like, well, guess what? We will sign off on that.
We'll give you that,
and
but
we'll remove everything.
If your show is shit, doesn't do well, then we'll remove.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So look forward to Netflix never following in these footsteps, especially if people get what they want out of the strike, because then they would have to pay people more royalties for the streaming service stuff. So then they'll want to remove stuff more.
Well, Netflix is the one place that has not removed original content. So
they shouldn't. If it's your original content, in my mind, it should be on there at all times. That's the one thing I don't. I get how third-party stuff comes and goes. That makes perfect sense. You buy it for a certain period. You pay your fees for a year, 6 months, whatever. That makes perfect sense. That's normal to me. The fact you remove your own shit, fucking dumb as hell.
I don't know. I feel like, we need to look a little bit more into the numbers, like, of the royalties. Is if it's like a flat fee for as long as it's on the thing, If it's a fee based on streaming numbers, I can understand, because I don't think the people, Kevin Spacey should be getting a bunch of money for House of Cards, even though probably nobody's watching House of Cards anymore. You know what I mean?
I don't think it matters once he goes to prison because he doesn't get royalties then. I don't think.
I don't think he's ever going to prison. Let's be fair. He's got too good a lawyers.
I don't know. Last week's court case wasn't going well for him. So.
Yep. This is an interesting story. So have you heard of the film Sound of Freedom?
Name rings a bell. Keep going.
Jim Caviezel's child trafficking drama from faith-based distributor Angel Studios made $14.2 million in a single day when it opened on the 4th of July.
I just looked at the poster. Yes, I do recognize this. Yes.
You can chalk that success up to a number of reasons. Religious audiences are underserved. The film has been bolstered by major right-wing pundits, and it opened up on a rare Tuesday after Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny has 5 days to quiet down. But the film's real godsend is the ability for Sound of Freedom fans to buy movie tickets for complete strangers. Angel Studios calls it Pay It Forward, in which you can buy a ticket for Sound of Freedom, pay for another one, and someone else can apply to redeem it if they don't have the financial means. A larger group of people buying tickets in bulk, such as a company or a church, can even redeem a portion of their tickets for free. The distributor says of its $14.2 million haul, $2.6 million came from people overpaying for those Pay It Forward tickets. Dylan, do you think this could be a thing, or is it just a case of small indie film, small niche audience that this would potentially work for?
It sounds like a BS marketing scheme, is what it sounds like.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're fake numbers, right?
You don't love a movie so much, you're like, I will pay money to let somebody else have the opportunity to watch this.
No, but how do you know they actually watched it?
Because they redeemed the money.
So
they redeemed the ticket.
So they say.
So what, you think just people redeem the ticket and then just no show up?
I'm calling bullshit.
Okay.
I'm calling fake news on this.
Well, they did make $14 million.
So they say.
I mean, that's approved back by like box office receipts.
Well, they're part of the agenda, aren't they?
What agenda?
I know, I'm trying to play in the conspiracy theory. This movie's about conspiracy theories.
It's about child trafficking.
Yeah, no, it's about a conspiracy theory that there's child trafficking of fucking what do these people believe? I can't remember. I was reading about this the other day.
I don't think the child trafficking was coming from underneath Pete's store.
It could have been though. I think that's part of the conspiracy theory.
Yeah. Anyway, this film apparently was made in 2018 and was finally seeing the light of day now. Just a very weird story. And really, honestly, just goes to show how much the evangelical Christian movement can potentially do if they get behind something for some reason.
Yeah, I watched that after watching that doco, the what's it called one, about how they're like invading the Duggars invading every, my eyes and ears are open now, Ash. I see things for what they are. Yeah, I see things.
Yeah. All right, let's move into giving some thumbs to trailers. Of course, you can find all the trailers that we're about to talk about in the show notes below. First trailer for this week is Bob Marley, One Love, directed by Ronaldo Marcus Green, starring Kingsley Ben-Adir, Lashana Lynch, and Jesse Cilio. A look at the life of legendary reggae musician Bob Marley. Dylan, what did you think of this biopic trailer?
I'll tell you what I watched. 15 seconds into this, I go, this motherfucker's a scroll. And then I moved on. Yeah, no, it was double thumbs.
He was Malcolm X. It's crazy.
Yeah, it was crazy. Double thumbs up. I thought this was really, really good. I don't know what it was. I don't know. I actually don't know much about. Like, I know the basics of like the Bob Marley story, but I don't know enough to say I'd definitely be close to anywhere of an expert. But this looked really, really interesting. Great performances. Director's got a few hits behind the back at the moment, of course, coming off King Richard. So keen for this. Great cast and everything. Keen.
Yeah, I'll give it 2 thumbs up as well. I also am very unfamiliar with Bob Marley, other than, he does reggae. He's got dreadlocks.
Smokes
He's
weed.
from It's from the, Pacific Americas, I think is the term. But yeah, I thought it was very good. Ben Kingsley, Adir looks fantastic. It is a little bit jarring, given he is in Secret Invasion right now. Obviously without the dreadlocks in that show, so that is very jarring. But it looks really good. It looks like a crazy biopic and a story that I have not heard, so I'm definitely interested. So yeah, I'm definitely keen to check it out. So this is releasing in Australian cinemas on the 11th of January 2024. So this might be the first one of these trailers that we got like a 2024 date. Crazy.
I think so.
And also interesting timing because the film that I watched this and I'm like, oh, it's kind of weird, like timing wise, like, and also I believe it was Sony Pictures is releasing this one.
Yeah. So what's the American release date? Like November, right? They're gonna get
it's the same.
You sure?
Yes.
Fucking.
Because the Whitney documentary, the Whitney biopic came out around the same time last year.
Yeah, true.
So whether they're purposely sticking these musical biopics out around the same time, post Christmas, when everybody wants to watch musicians. Next trailer, Miraculous, Ladybug and Cat Noir, the movie, created by Jeremy Zag, starring Christina V, and Bryce Papenbrook. Bestowed with magical powers of creation, Ladybug must unite with her opposite, Cat Noir, to save Paris as a villain unleashes chaos into the city. Okay, Dylan, are you familiar with Miraculous, Ladybug, and Cat Noir?
Yes, I've watched several episodes.
See, I've seen the characters everywhere. I've not watched anything.
Popular kid show.
Yes, popular kid show, but it don't feel like it's broken through to be something bigger. I don't know. But yeah.
Well, no, the show's animation style is a lot cheaper than this. That's the standout straight away from the movie.
Yep.
Is the animation style in this is a lot bigger, which is good. The other thing is that this is not this isn't a the movie's set between these episodes. The movie is just like
it's a remake.
It's a remake.
It's a
reboot. Yeah, it's its own thing, which works then too, because I don't know if that means they'll move the age audience from younger kids to slightly older, or just go for that general family audience rather than just young, which would be a good idea, I guess, especially the Netflix side of things. Yeah, I thought it looked pretty good. Like I was stand out being that the animation style looks a lot better than I don't want to say cheap, but very basic of the kids show sort of thing. And yeah, the action set pieces and whatever else. I know kids like it. I see toys and Target and whatever else. So like, it's big enough that there's toys.
Yeah.
Like, so yeah, I'll go double thumbs up.
Yeah, I'll give it 2 thumbs up. It's better than anything I've seen of this so far. Definitely has me interested in at least checking it out. It's just to learn more about what this is, because I couldn't, you see different things of these characters pop up in different places, and you're like, what is this? Am I too old?
It's
yes.
They have, so the two know each other outside their super personas, like Cat Noir and Ladybug. They know each other, but they never know that they're that's
the other
one's the plot.
The other one.
Yeah. So you've got that whole and they're like sort of into each other, but as both characters, but like in a kid way. That like, as an adult, you can tell that like they're sort of hinting at flirtation.
Like Clark Kent and Bruce Wayne.
Yeah. What?
They don't know the other one is.
Sure.
I'm trying to think of another analogy.
And then they have like these little critters. I don't fully understand the lore, but everyone has the little critters that help turn them into things. I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah. Very French.
It's set in Paris.
Yeah. So this is releasing on Netflix on the 28th of July. Next trailer is for The Lost Flowers of Alice Hart, created by Sarah Lambert, starring Sigourney Weaver, Alyssa Debnam Carey, Ashley Ketty, Leah Purcell, and Frankie Adams. Alice Hart finds her life-changing dramatically when her parents die in a mysterious fire as she is sent to live with her grandmother on a flower farm. Dylan, what do you think of this latest in a string of Australian Prime Video TV series?
I mean, I reckon Prime Video's put out more Australian series than anyone else in recent memory.
Then
It's
Channel
absolutely
9.
the Channel 9. Well, that's pretty low bar. Yeah. Let's clarify.
Free to air television combined.
Scripted
Scripted
series.
Australian television, yeah.
Australian television. I reckon Prime Video's shat on everyone else. Then Channel 9, Channel 10, all these channels.
Well,
yeah. Maybe not ABC, but yeah. Well,
yeah.
The stands up there. But yeah, it looks really good. I'm really keen for this one. I'm gonna give the trailer one up, one down though. Mainly because I think the trailer's too long. It sort of hits a point where I'm like, okay, like the fucking just stop. You're getting close to the 3 minutes. Stop. But yeah, I'm keen to watch it in general. But I'm gonna go one up, one down for this trailer.
Yeah, I agree. I think one up, one down. I feel like they might have shown too much.
That's
like you read that description, you're like a mysterious fire. No, it looks like that little girl set fire to that house. She's a little pyromaniac. That's what it looks like to me. But clearly, like there's a long story. Like clearly, she's going to grow up and live on that flower farm for a long time. It's cool to see Sigourney Weaver in an Australian TV series. Crazy. The cast looks really fantastic. But yeah,
Ashley Hobley.
From Australian television.
Yeah, well, I think
Offspring, yes,
her
specifically,
main big thing, yeah.
Yeah,
like
apparently
from Australian television.
So apparently it's like based on a very popular book. So, I think it's going to be like a mini series. I don't think they specify, but yeah.
It's definitely a mini-series. I looked it up when they the PR email came in like a month ago, and I was like, okay, is this a series or is this like a it's just one book? So
So this will release on Prime Video on the 4th of August, with the first 3 episodes available immediately, and a new episode debuting on a weekly basis until the series finale on the 1st of September.
Prime currently the best Australian TV series of the year. So let's see if they can get another one.
You mean Prime has the best Australian
Prime
TV
currently
series
has the best Australian TV series of the year, yes.
What would that be?
Take a guess.
Well, Deadlock, I guess.
Correct answer. Yeah.
Couldn't think of another one. What was the other? I feel like they did another one this year.
It's been like another 2.
Oh, yeah, they did Class of 09. 05.
07 or whatever.
07.
Yeah, because then you got the Disney one.
Odd number.
09. Yeah. Confusing, but yeah.
Class of odd number. Next trailer. The Nun 2. Directed by Michael Chavez. Starring Taysa Farmiga, Jonas Blokett, Bonnie Aarons, Storm Reed, and Anna Popplewell.
Why did you struggle with these names so much more than like anyone else's? Like it's like Bonnie Aarons, and you're like Bonnie Aarons.
In 1956, France, a priest is murdered, and it seems an evil is spreading. Sister Irene once again comes face to face with the demonic force. I'm going to give this one up, one down. I guess it looks like a horror movie. They did have some jump scares in there. It's a horror movie trailer. Dylan, what are your thoughts on this?
Oh shit!
Are you a Nun fan? You mad about them?
No, actually, I wasn't. I thought the first Nun movie was pretty avo on a toast with that one. But yeah, I'm keen for this one. I think there's a chance to redeem it. The Nun's a really scary, interesting villain that was introduced in the Conjuring films, and yeah, I just felt like the first one lacked a lot of what this one looks to be having, which is just more and like
bugs.
Actually, well, no. Well, the first one was just like fucking. I swear it was like 4 characters wandering around, and I was like, I don't know what the fuck. Anyway, this is a good trailer. Mostly jump scares and stuff like this, but in the trailer, I'm hoping for a bit more substance in the actual film, but. Outside, nice amount of jump scares with everything else. But yeah, the Conjuring universe is currently that's the bee's knees as far as making horror money. Storm Reed is in this too, so shout outs. Okay.
Yeah, crazy. I forgot to ask. I thought you were going to go see Insidious, The Lost Door, or The Red Door.
It's not showing at my fucking cinema. It's fucking bullshit. I would go watch it. I know
really?
there's mixed opinions,
reviews,
and,
including Jason over at explosionover.com gave it a 5.5 out of 10.
I gave it a 5.5, which is fine. Like I watch it. Trust me, I watch my fair share of 5.5 horror movies. But yeah, I still want to watch it, just not showing them at the fucking cinema.
That's crazy.
It's bullshit.
You would think at least counter programming, against, old Indians, old Tom.
Tom Cruise has paid off old Lonnie cinemas.
I mean, and based
none
on
of
that,
them.
probably
Clarify, none of the cinemas. All tour.
You're not going to see it now. I guess it's not coming in Launceston.
No,
based on the movies that are coming
what's going to
up.
happen? What's going to happen is it's just going to drop on VOD pretty quickly, I reckon.
Yeah. All right. Last trailer for this week. Napoleon, directed by Ridley Scott, starring Joaquin Phoenix, Vanessa Kirby, Tahir Rahim. A look at the military commander's origins and his swift, ruthless climb to emperor, viewed through the prism of his addictive and often volatile relationship with his wife and one true love, Josephine. Dylan, are you familiar with Napoleon?
Never heard of him. Yes, I'm familiar with. Who the fuck has never heard of? Doesn't know any? Don't tell me you know
you've
nothing
heard the
about
name
Napoleon. No, I know the base premise of Napoleon. I know the core thing of him being a military leader that rises to an emperor and then dies lonely. Or I think that's my short stick of his life.
Short. That was the joke I was going to make. All right. Dylan, what did you think of the trailer for Ridley Scott's Napoleon?
Double thumbs up. Can't wait. Cinema's back, baby, for the 10th time this year. Ridley Scott's like, I heard a rumor that he may have hit the pyramid with a cannonball to make it cinema. And I'm all for it. Also, Vanessa Kirby's in this. Shout outs, Keen.
Yeah, 2 thumbs up from me as well. This feels like a definite throwback to historic epics that I don't think we've really seen.
Ridley Scott loves a historic epic.
He does.
He's one of the good ones that make
the massive success of The Last Duel propelled him to make this historical epic. Wait
for this to be announced to be like 4 hours long or something. That'll be great.
Probably. It looks like it's got to be at least 4 hours. Yeah, just crazy, over the big. I think the only critique I would have is they do not seem like they're French.
No, I think obviously they've made a choice, and I can understand leaning one way or another. Of the we're not even trying.
We're not even trying.
We're not even trying.
You
even make the film in French, or just don't even try. Don't meet in the middle. Don't try and do English with French accents or some weird shit like that. Just French or not, whatever.
Yeah. But other than that, it looks fantastic. Like the scale of it all, crazy. Even I love the shot of the titles of from the director of listing all these fantastic movies that obviously Ridley Scott's made.
The last one being The Martian. The hit comedy.
One of these don't fit. But yeah, it looks stunning. I'm sure Joaquin Phoenix suddenly going to be propelled into Oscar discussions.
It's the second time he's playing an emperor for Ridley Scott.
Yeah,
the first time
it went so
Gladiator
well for him the first time. Yeah. I'm sure it's going to end differently for
history says otherwise, but that's fine.
History could be ruined.
Quentin Tarantino ain't directing this. It's Ridley Scott. I'm sure
it's Ridley Scott. It doesn't end with Napoleon in modern day, surviving Elvis style. All right, so Napoleon is coming to cinemas on the 23rd of November, before coming to Apple TV at a later date.
Apple TV, give me this and
Killers of the
Flower Moon. Fucking, I'm tell you what, I'm happy to be buying my new iPhone this year if they keep help me bring good movies to cinema.
Bring the movies to cinema. Do you think people are actually going to go see them in the cinema?
Fucking hope so, because between both these movies are cinema movies. I understand that they're going to come to Apple TV eventually, but if you view this or Killers of the Flower Moon as, watch it on my fucking iPad at home, get the fuck out of here, you animal. You absolute animal. Eat outside with your dog and your cat and your farm animals is where you should be if you think that. You disgust me. Spit on you.
All right. Let's move into this week's top 3.
Definitely in the top 3.
And this week, we're doing top 3, or in Dylan's case, top 4 hopes for this year's Emmy nominations. Even though the number one hope we have is that the Emmys actually happen this year. With all these strikes going on, maybe they'll just do
well, no one can
what the
write
Globes
the Emmys.
did.
No one can
No
write
one
the
will
Emmys,
write.
so.
They'll just do what they did. Like, I think I read somewhere the Golden Globes did during the writer strike. They just had a press conference and they'll announce the winners.
That's some sad shit right there.
Yeah. All right, Dylan, what is your number 4?
Number 4, Emma Darcy wins Best Drama Actress.
You went super specific.
Yeah, what do you want me to do?
I just said, what are your hopes for the nominations? I thought it was, general. But yeah, go ahead.
I mean, I'm all in. I hope Emma Darcy wins Best Drama Actress. I think they're the best. They're going to be the best pick for that, and that's who I want to win.
Okay. My number 3. I hope Mrs. Davis gets some Emmy nominations. I believe it's for best limited series. So hope it squeaks into one of those 5 spots, and then I would love to see Betty Gilpin get an acting nomination. She's really good in that. Both of the serious stuff, but also the over the top comedic stuff. So yeah, that's my number 3. Dylan, what is your number 3?
Oh, that confused me for a sec. My number 3 is Better Call Saul wins Best Drama Series.
Okay. My number 2. My number 2
baby.
is. My number 2 is Emmy love for Andor. One of our favorite show of last year.
Your favorite show last year?
Our collective,
Okay.
as the Explosion Network, favorite show for last year. Easily some of the best Star Wars made ever. Yeah, I would love to see a bunch of nominations, whether it's for writing, for Tony Gilroy, directing. If Fiona Shaw and Andy Serkis do not get guest star acting nominations, it's a crime. I would love to see Stellan Skarsgård get something as well. But yeah, love for Andor. That's my number 2. Dylan, what's your number 2?
My number 2 is that Bob Odenkirk wins Best Drama Actor. Best Leading Actor in a Drama Series.
Okay. Interesting. My number 1, Shrinking, getting some love nominations. I think definitely at least for Harrison Ford. He needs to be nominated. He is fantastic in that show. But yeah, some writing, some directing. Jason Segel, Jessica Williams, Ed McKinley. Just give the award nominations. Everybody loves Shrinking. Dylan, why don't you shock us all and tell us what is your number 1 hope for the 2023 Emmy nominations?
My number 1 hope for the 2023 Emmy nominations and Emmy Awards of 2023, when and if they happen as a press release and or an actual show of writers that may not be paid to do such a thing at appropriate rate, is that Ray Seahorn wins Best Supporting Drama Actress in a role when it should be Best Actress, but it'll be Best Supporting. But she could win both. She could do all the things. She's so good. Give her all the awards. Now, let me back up everything I just said.
Okay.
Now, I thought about your question.
Mm-hmm.
Your question was, let me open this and make sure I word it right.
Yep.
You wrote here, verbatim, it says, top 4 hopes for this year's Emmy nominations. And my brain said, well, Better Call Saul gets all the awards it could win. I went with my heart. Ash. And I just ordered my heart in the order of preference,
Yeah, okay.
I know it's not super exciting answers, but they're truthful and they come from within.
Okay. And it's the last chance.
It's my last chance.
Are you going to make your thread banner? Where is he on?
Can you have a banner on Threads?
No.
I
That's
was
why
gonna say,
she's not going to
what
get
the
it.
fuck?
No.
That's a
Can you
good
imagine
point,
that?
though.
Yeah.
They should do that.
You need to hurry up and do that on all your social medias.
That's a good point. Where don't I have it? Where can I change it?
Have you got it on Facebook?
No. Do I use Facebook? No,
Doesn't matter.
it's still it's still Sunkang from Fast and Furious. You're right. I should change that. Yes, good point. I'll do that now.
What about Hive? They have banners on Hive.
Do they?
I don't know. I'm asking the question. Anyway, I mean, maybe you should just change profile picture. I don't know.
No. I want people to know it's me. I don't want to.
Okay.
I want her. I'm not trying to pretend. Like in a world with AI and all this shit. I mean, I can't be out here trying to pretend.
You
It's
need
all
to
right.
make a receipt
I just
hand
opened
for-
Hive. You'll be happy to know. Already my banner.
Okay.
But yes, I will change my Facebook. That's a good point.
That will be the tipping point. That will get you over the edge.
Yeah, I'll change that.
Dylan, this week, what do you want to watch?
Oh fuck! I thought about this and I forgot my answer. My answer was because there's some slim pickings this week. Bed Box Barcelona.
Yeah.
I thought the first one was pretty average, but here's a chance. I feel like the concept is interesting, but the film wasn't so much. If that,
Maybe the Spanish can get it right.
maybe the Spanish can get it right.
My pick this week, After Party Season 2, launching on Apple TV Plus. Yeah, baby. We're going to get...
It's a real answer. That's not a movie. The movie's supposed to be number one pick, and then the other TV shows are back up.
No, there's no
You're
movies
breaking
this
the
week.
rules. There was
Tiffany Haddish, Solomon War Mysteries, another murder mystery. Bunch of cool people involved in this season. Very exciting.
updated my banner profile on Facebook, so she can't lose now.
Let us know what you want to watch this week. We're going to explosion.com/Twitter or Explosion Pod on a bunch of other on social media services. Or just go to explosion.com/Discord and talk to us in Discord.
We're still on Threads.
We are on Threads.
Can't have a banner there, but
if you want to help us out here at What Do You Want to Watch, leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or on Podchaser. Tell people about the show. Leave us 5 stars. Anyone can leave us 5 stars. Anyone can leave 5 stars, or just tell people about the show. And if you've enjoyed this episode, thought it was worth $1, head over to our Ko-fi page at explosion.com/support. Thank you very much for listening. Until next time, keep watching stuff, I guess.